Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Xantho here, and then today I'm coming to you from the future in the sense that I recorded this section of the video, the section where I'm just quickly going over the PoB progress, after I recorded the next section of the video, which is going to be an example of about 10 to 15C investment, doing it in series with about 7,000 ES at like level 73, 74-ish. That's with 10C investment with 7,000 ES, so that's pretty damn high ES for 10C investment. But PoB progress is going good, going well, I should say. Proper grammar is always good. I got the leveling sections pretty much almost filled out because there's not much to do in Act 5 and 6. I didn't add Grace in. You can also add Grace in earlier if you have room for it mono-wise. White maps, endgame. Then I have leveling trees set up, which are pretty nice. Let me go through this one more time. So, Act 1, Act 2, 3, 4. If you don't have Ephemeral Edge and Ghost Ride by this time, that's fine. You can just continue as Poison Chaos. But then you want to get Ephemeral Edge and Ghost Ride as early as you can. And you don't necessarily need Ghost Ride. It's just really, really good. You can use another high ES base armor, or use Zendith's Cossack at level 37. Which is actually what you switch to in Act 5 when you go CI. And it's going to sound weird saying going CI in Act 5, but trust me. I've done a leveling test. It works out when you have faster energy shield recharge. You're going to have like 2500 ES. You're going to be immune to poison and chaos, of course, because chaos inoculation. You're also going to have like 3, 4, 5,000 evasion. I think at that level it's like 75, 76% evade chance, and then it goes even higher because the enemy's blinded because you're going to be using Conquering Stratagem, which blinds enemies when you trigger a trap. And also those blinded enemies do a 30% reduced spell damage to you, which is massive reduction in spell damage taken. Like, that's insane. 30% reduced spell damage taken, like, holy crap. So yeah, Zendith's is Cossack. Cossack? I think Cossack, yeah. That's a mouthful. Both the Deceiver for the mostly because the resistances, but also the Intimidate. I previously had what is it, Bated Breath in here, but I switched to Belt Deceiver because it didn't need that much ES. Like, it gave me like 200 more ES, but the resistances are important and the Intimidate's good. So, and also you're going to need some strength. You're going to hit a point where you need more strength, and this just gives you up to 35 strength, so that's nice. So, been rambling about this for too long, but I got pretty much, trees are almost pretty much done. Skills sections are pretty much almost done. Item section are not completely done. The important stuff is in here, like, you know, vendor recipe stuff. Other stuff you just need sockets and, you know, res. Until you get to like yellow maps when you actually need specific stuff like, you know, ES and resistances. And, you know, Nilfmann's Trickery, which is really high ES. And it also gives you Shock Ground, which is nice. And it gives you a bunch of lightning damage to attacks. And you're going to need Restless Ward, which is insane. So, this is enough of me rambling. On to the next section of the video where I show you me having 7,000 ES on 10C investment and me clearing Apex of Sacrifice, which is Zeri. So, peace out. Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Xantho here, and today I'm going to be giving a demonstration for basically kind of a yellow map tier character with about 10 to 15C investment for the Ephemeral Edge Blade Trap Trickster. This kind of league start prices. I only have a 4 link. Got Ephemeral Edge, which is about 1C, and Neophomon's Trickery, which is less than 1C. It's like maybe an alk or 2. Restless Ward, which maybe is 1C, usually less than that. I have a pretty nice shield, a solid ES, and good res. But you can usually live search for solid shields and gloves and rings at league start with open suffixes, with empty suffixes in the trade search. And you can snipe some pretty good items for like literally 1 to 2 chaos, and then just craft the open suffix on with res. I've done that league after league after league. And you can get alchemies for buying this stuff just by selling 4 lings you get throughout the campaign. And then, of course, you're probably going to get a couple of uniques that might sell for an alk or 2, maybe a chaos, maybe more. Like, these gloves are just terrible. I just bought some Samite gloves from the vendor. Put a T3 Fire Essence on it. And crafted out an energy shield. That's all I did. Baited Breath is super cheap. Restless Ward is super cheap. Syntrex are pretty cheap, like 1C. Doedri's Damning is almost free. It's like 1C, maybe 2C. Just for the additional curse, because getting conductivity and elemental weakness is pretty big. So 32 lightning res and 26 elemental res, at least with their current levels. It's pretty damn good. So I've been farming at Ziri, just as an example. I got this on my second attempt, which is usually 30C, 25 to 30C at beginning of league. I got a Cold Dorian's Invitation, which is usually 20C. Triumvirate Authority is like 5C. Dorian's Catalyst is usually 5C beginning of league, then it goes up like 15 to 20 later. This is like 5C. Aziri's Promise. This is a perfect elemental damage extra chaos roll. This is like 60 to 70C at this current point in league. But probably will be only 20 to 30C early on. So this is still really good returns when you're considering you only have to pay 4C per run for Aziri. And then you also get Mortal Fragments, which go only for a couple C at the beginning, but then they, after the first few days to a week or so, they shoot up to like 15 to 20C per, and exceeding 30C for the top right one, which I can't remember what that is. Can't remember the name of it. But I have 7200 ES, and this is basically a level 74 character. I have 15 passive points remaining, if I didn't forget any passives, which I did not. So 7250 energy shield, which is pretty damn good at a 74 character. And since this I'm running CI right now, eventually you're not going to run CI. You're going to run Course Guiding Elixir with the Trader Keystone from a Timeless Jewel. For permanent flask uptime with 3 flasks, you're going to use a Ruby Flask, which is the Course Guiding Elixir, a Topaz Flask, and a... oh my god, what is the gold flask? My mind is escaping my brain right now. But those 3 flasks are going to help carry your elemental resistances, because elemental resistances can be a little bit sketchy in this build once you have all of the uniques you need. And once you're crafting for really high ES gear, it's kind of sometimes hard to get also super high ES and also roll int on it, because we want to have high int, because my version of this character has pretty high int. I'm talking like close to 1000 with Cyclopean Coil. Cyclopean Coil, of course, doesn't have any elemental resistance on it. But for now, we're going CI with a hybrid chest piece, which Restless Ward is basically the perfect hybrid chest piece for Trickster, because it has a ton of evasion, ton of energy shield, which is perfect for Escape Artist. If I take this off, I go down to 4600 energy shield, and put it on, it goes to 7200. So that's, what is that? 24, almost 2700 ES just from this chest piece, which is pretty beefy. Yeah, almost 2700. So the only flask I'm using right now is just a Mana Flask, so I can spam skills easier. But I'm going to get some some sacrifice fragments here. And run a quick Aziri to show you. And Aziri is honestly not bad. It's really good XP early. And the returns in loot are actually not bad. Better than you would expect. A lot of people think Aziri is just, terrible for loot. I'm like, and it's outdated and it's, not good. But it's honestly not bad. Ooh, I have 10 stacks of Corrupting Blood on me. That's not good at all. I forgot to have a Corrupting Blood flask. Actually, I do. It's my Mono Flask. So, that was not good, but ideally you have a Corrupting Blood immunity from a Jewel. What's all these Corrupting Blood mobs? What the hell? So many Corrupting Blood mobs. Since we're CI, the Chaos Spitters do absolutely nothing to us. And also we have 21,000 unflasked evasion. That's only with the level 16 grace. So once you get up to 20, you're probably going to have 25,000 unflasked evasion. And then once you get higher, int, this node here puts in work. 1% increased evasion per 5 intelligence. I think in my endgame build last league I had almost 40,000 evasion unflasked, which is pretty damn good. I'm going to skip a few of these mobs. I'm just going to go straight to most of the bosses. This build doesn't have the best clear, but it's incredibly tanky. It's easy to put together. Has a lot of scaling room. You can scale this to the moon and back. Not as much as some other builds, like Ore Stackers and such, but you can invest a good 70 to 80 divines into this. Probably wouldn't invest anymore because you get severe diminishing returns, because once you get to basically max roll perfect ES, gear, 360, 370 ES boots and stuff with T1 int on them, you're kind of reaching the apex of what you can do with the build. But in the end, I ended up with about 30 million DPS, but that is heavily dependent on the enemy being stationary. Divergent Blade Trap helps a lot because it makes the Blade Trap spin 25% faster. Sorry, 40% faster, which makes your damage go out faster, so there's less kind of a ramp time. Okay, let's do the trio here. Trio never really gives me any issue. Just DPS him down. Avoid some of the attacks. Kind of hate how they all just regenerate their HP. Oh, I'm standing in the black fog stuff, which I usually leave the ranged girl for last. Some people don't like doing that, but I don't know. I have no problem with her going last. Huh, that is a Winter Weave. That sells for pretty good money early on. And Azirius herself, you could basically tank everything she does other than dual empowered flame blast. And if she does 20 storm calls on top of you, you don't want to be tanking 20 storm calls. But the normal flame blast you can just tank right through. It's not ideal because it stops your I forgot to DPS her down from the door. Because it stops your ES recharge because you get ignited. But once you have Pyromaniac from a Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh combo, you don't have to worry about that. But at that point, you're probably not going to be farming at Zeri anymore. You're probably going to be going on to Ubers. And just higher tier content in general. Excuse me. Like these storm calls, these orange storm calls do absolutely nothing to us, basically. And the flame blasts don't do much other than ignite us a little bit. See the mirror here, no problem. See the flame blast doesn't do much, just ignites us for like 3-4 seconds. It's these ones that I can't really tank a ton of. You can tank a few of them, but if you get stuck in the middle of like a million of them, you're gonna have a bad time. Or if you take multiple flame blasts in a row, you might have an issue because it takes about, I don't know, 1500 ES off you. I'm not exactly sure how much it takes off of you. I haven't really checked. All right. Oh. She's being a coward. And another flask. Alright. Flasks are like 5 to 10 yearly, depending on rules. Yeah, it's not too good of a rule. 7% fizz is extra, 6% elemental is extra. Probably like 10C. And then a winter weave. Not sure how much these go for, but that is a perfect cold res, mid roll, maximum life. Perfect fire damage to attacks, and pretty good cold damage to attacks. That's not what people are looking for, though. They're looking for life, cold resistance. I'm not sure how winter weaves go for these days. I would assume pretty reasonable amount early on. I'm just curious now. Yeah, 4C day 1. That's not much. Okay, whatever. That's not even a Azuri drop. It just dropped in the Apex. So, once again, 4-link, maybe 10, 15C in gear if you're unlucky. 10C in gear if you're able to snipe a couple of these items and craft res on them. Maybe even less than 10C if you're smart about your purchases. And this is like a level 74, so maybe just you're getting into yellow maps. You can farm it very easy. So no issue there. Build is fantastic once you get it fully rolling. This is just an example of kind of light gear and a leak start environment. Pretty cheap gear. So there's that, and peace out, you guys.